But I would say rapidly, it's been a lot of one-name churches coming on the scene. You know, Elevation, for example, or that silly mess in Oklahoma, Transformation, with Michael Todd and all of that gibberish and false doctrine and just heretical trash. But, you know, the Apostle Paul says something interesting in regards to people's intentions and ambitions. In Philippians 1:15-8, the Apostle Paul says something interesting. He says, it is true that some preach Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill. The latter do so out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former preach Christ out of selfish ambition. And I'll kind of pause there because Paul the Apostle is identifying different reasons and different categories of people who preach Christ. But you see, the Apostle Paul, and I'll continue, he says, the former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for me while I am in chains. But what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, Christ is preached. And so, and I'm paraphrasing, but the Apostle Paul, in essence, is saying in 1 Philippians, what does it matter? You know, what? Christ is preached, people are being saved, hopefully, and God doesn't have this huge burden of throwing billions of people in hell. So you really got to break down and take apart this casual attitude that the Apostle Paul has when it comes to other ministers, and like I use the term bubblegum ministries. There's a ton of bubblegum ministers out there. Just go on your Instagram or YouTube and just after 10 seconds, you know this is some bubblegum junk that has no sustenance, often no relevance to the Bible, and if anything, it's real surface and milky. And they don't take you no further than some surface milky junk. Or it's a heavily emotional guy working up your emotions and stirring up some type of feelings towards the gospel, the world, etc. Not necessarily rebuking you for your involvement in the world, being a shepherd or a pastor and deterring you with that cane, hitting with that stick up, knocking you upside the head, batting you away from sin and the devil. But just more so, their thing is just to make you feel some kind of remorse for your sin, and some type of anger towards the sin producers, if you will. But nothing real practical in regards to how to avoid sin, how to truly sanctify yourself as the Bible gives us explicit instruction. Not necessarily depending on God to do it. The Bible says you sanctify yourself. However, the Apostle Paul is saying in Philippians 1:15,